Hello, today I'm going to be doing a bit of a compare and contrast, all about different papers and which papers are good to use with which medium. I'm going to start off and try and do a fairly equal footing. So these are some of the mediums I'm going to use. That's the paintbrushes I don't need until a bit later. But at the moment, what I'm going to do first is compare dry media and see which, obviously, when I say dry media, I mean things that you like, pens, pencils, pastels in this case, that sort of thing, just to see which of these works best on which papers. I've got a selection of different papers here. To make it fair, I'm going to use these things on all the different types of papers that I've been able to rummage around in my house. I've cut 2 pieces of each type of paper in round about A5 shapes. They're all from different packs. So, for example, the copy of paper obviously is normal A4 size, but some of these are from A2 sheets, some of these from other. Each of these, as you can see, I've got 2 sheets of them. So I've got 2 goes to get this right. So I've got 2 sheets of these that I've cut to A5. Which is half the size of an A4 piece of paper, so you know your standard size piece of paper. And I've got a few different things. So I've got copy of paper. That's the sort of thing you probably have around your house generally. It's fairly basic sort of paper. You'll probably find that if you get a kid's sketchbook or something like that, it's going to be that sort of thing as a paper. As you can see, if I can get it to focus on it, it's not particularly thick paper. It's not see-through, but you can kind of see my hand through it. So that's the basic paper I'm going to start with. Apart from the copy of paper, which I'm going to do first, so you've got a fair idea of how it compares to all the other types of paper. I'm going to go pretty much from thin paper to thicker paper. And in this, I've got a combination of cheap versions of things and more expensive versions of things. So, for example, I've got some tracing paper, but it's a really cheap kids tracing paper. I think I got it from the Works or somewhere like that for like 99p. And then it goes upwards from there. So, copy of paper, you get a ream of paper for, anywhere between £2.99 depending on where you get it, and £5 or £6. You can pay as much as you like. Obviously, the more you pay, you hope the better quality you get. But copy of paper is pretty much the same, whatever price it is. You might get a smaller amount or larger amount. That's generally how they save on the money. But I will get on with this, and what I'm going to do is try pencils, pastels, alcohol inks, and just normal felt tips. So these are a really nice set of felt tips. I got one Christmas. You know how it is when you get things and you are saving for a special occasion? Well, I'm just kind of getting fed up with doing that, so I'm getting out the nice stuff as well. So this is an Edding set of superior quality felt tips, but they are basic felt tips. You can do this with Crayolas or, obviously generally the cheaper they are, the less ink they have in them, so that they don't last as long. That's the major difference between the different prices. Sometimes you get brighter colours in the more expensive ones, or more stronger colours, but generally it's the amount of ink you're getting. So I will start this off. So as I say, it's going to be pencils, pastels. Actually, I think I'll do the normal felt tips and then the alcohol markers, so you get an idea of what each of these will do. I think I might put my focus on manual as well. Okay, right, so let's do this. Right, we're starting with copy paper. Leave these off here. Pastels will, of course, be the messiest. Come back here. Non-slip sheet. Little sheet here of ink. I thought I'd do them I thought they'd do them A5s, because that would be basically a nice manageable size of paper. So copy paper and pencils. So as you can see, this is going on really nicely. And being a really nice pen, quite a nice soft pencil. These ones are the Staedtler Norris colour, so they're not top of the range, but they're not like really rubbish ones either. So you've got a nice blue, a bit of red. That's what we need to get this a little bit closer. Just pull this in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. A bit clearer. There you go. That's a bit so. So as you can see, that goes on fairly smoothly. Doesn't do much to the thing. Oh, you see how bright this is. Actually a lot warmer in colour than it actually is looking on the camera. But as you can see, if I go over it too many times, you see it tends to dig into it and it's not very strong. There we go, and yellow on top of that. That's a nice bright yellow. It's golden yellow. It's pretty good. So that's that one. Right, I haven't got as much of a selection of pastel colours as I would normally have because they're all in a separate box and frankly it just makes dust everywhere. It's a nightmare. So I got these ones from ages and ages ago, but you can still get these ones from the works. So they're not expensive to get and they're quite nice for the blue. A little broken one there. You see, it gets stuff all over. As long as you don't mind getting a bit messy, it's fine. So that's quite nice. And as you can see, because it's fairly smooth, it smudges nicely. Oddly enough, if you buy specific pastel paper, generally it's a little bit rough. But I think that's so you can build up thicker colour. Right, so we've got, there's a little scrap of red there, I think. It's either red or pink, what do you reckon? Let's find out. Ooh, that's nice. Pinkish. Reddish pinkish. It's definitely pinker than that one. I think that one's more of a vermilion colour. Annoyingly, the Staedtler colours don't actually say what colour they are on the pencil. That's just a personal preference. I'd rather they did that. Let's have a scrap of yellow here. So if I keep the blue and then red and yellow, so for each one, we'll make sure they're all the same colour so you can see it. You can see that's really nice. Will they mix together a bit? A little bit. That's not too bad, is it? Gives you a nice gradient there. So that's not too bad. As you can see, they're not ideal. They're not staying on there particularly thickly. But they're okay. Right, let's have a look at colours with the markers. Oh, these are nice deep colours, this one. This is a nice dark blue. It looks almost black on the photo, but it's actually kind of a, I'd say French navy or really dark royal blue. It's colour 017, so you can probably tell me what that is. And we've got red. So that's a red one as well. So crimsony red. As you can see though, it gets a bit overloaded on this, so you can see how much is coming through. You also see on the pencil where it's gone a bit, it's made ridges on there, but you can see it's already starting to come through on this one. And that's just normal, these are just normal felt tips, so they're nothing, they've not got alcohol in them or anything like that, so you've got those. And then the yellow. One of the things I've got with the alcohol markers, which is what I'm going to do next, is I've got a blending pen, which is this one. This one I got online. I think I got it from Wish, and they were selling fairly cheaply. And the idea of these is they blend the colours. So I'm going to use a bit of this to blend the colours I've got. Though I haven't got particularly good colours because I couldn't find them. Yeah, I tend not to keep them as organised as I ought to. Right, so these pens, I really like. They come from Tiger, and they're normally around, I think they're around £3 for a pack of 3, and you get them in colour sets, so you'll get like 3 different kinds of blue, or 3 different kinds of green, or 3 different kinds of pink. So they're really nice. They're a really good value for money for alcohol markers. Obviously these ones are a bit smellier and they're not ideal for kids because these will stain on fabrics and on stuff like that. So let's start with the blue one. That's kind of a teal blue. Not coming out that clear, so we can get a bit more light on that. She says, I'm desperately trying to get a bit more light on it. That a bit better? That's a bit better. Got a bit more natural light there. I have to be careful because I'm right at the front of the house, and unfortunately there's a main road right outside our door, so that tends to be a little bit noisy. So next we will try. Oh, and the other good thing about these is they have their twin tips, so you've got like a sort of bullet tip at one end and a chisel tip at the other, so you can make nice big marks on them. I do really like these ones, and as I say, they're really good value for money. I think I'm going to try the orange one. It's a bit leery, I know, but here we go. That's a nice one. Let's have a look at those. Ooh. Now, see those in comparison. So you've got the normal markers up here, which okay, they didn't go through much, but as you can actually see, I don't know if you can see on this. It's actually gone completely through with the alcohol markers. If I let me just get an old envelope. See if we can pick up the marker through it. I've got the green here. So yeah, I was pushing down a bit hard there, but not massively so. You can see it goes straight through into there. So this is obviously not a great one for inks and alcohol markers and what have you. It's going to be interesting to see how it does with the wet medium. So I'm going to do some watercolours and some acrylics. So yeah, you can see it went straight through that. Yes, I'm going to do some of this fun stuff. So I can blend these into one another so you get an idea of how these work. Helps for trying to put the right lid in it. Okay. Blend much nicer than that, but you can see, but also you can see that they go all the way through. And of course, the more of this you put on, which is basically an alcohol, it's basically got whatever the medium, the spirit that holds the ink in, but without any colour in it. So that one will. The more of that, the more it'll go through your paper. So obviously that is not great. So this is okay for things like, so if you're doing sketching, if you're doing, the other thing I forgot to do is, as you can see, I've written in there. So you've got pen. So it's okay for this sort of pen, like fine liners and things like that. It's okay for pencils and sketching, and some probably do charcoals, pastels, that sort of thing. But not great for anything that uses ink or gets the paper wet. So you can see it's really softened the paper here. And if if I'd put any more ink on that, it would have started to come away. The paper would actually start to break. I can show you actually. If I just keep doing that, you see it just turns into mush. It goes straight through. You can see it's not great. It's not a great effect, which is why it's frustrating for kids when they've got, because most of the time they've got this sort of paper to use, and they're just being kids and they just want to get darker colour, or they're just a bit heavy with the thing, and it just goes through. And it's a real shame because it can put them off. And one thing you don't want to do is put your kids off doing art. So that's the copy of paper.
And with the copy of paper done, I'm going to stop there because I think, well, it's getting to be a long video, so, you know, it seems a bit unfair to make you have to listen to me rambling on for much longer. I have got some other videos on this subject with other papers that I'm going to be releasing soon. So please like and subscribe so you don't miss them. And I shall see you in the next video.